Good evening, YouTube. This is Diveflyfish. It is approximately 5 minutes after 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just want to give you an update on this OREO cell. On Energetic Forum, there was some discussion that this possibly could be acting as some sort of hybrid capacitor, which is entirely possible. I haven't touched this cell all day long, except a couple minutes ago. And just want to give you an update as far as like what the voltage is showing. So we have the voltage on the 2 millivolt range, or the 2 volt range, I should say. Just to check the voltage right now, it's showing like so. Now the one thing I will tell you is that I inadvertently disassociated the top from the bottom. And you can see the crystalline layer on the carbon. The way it reflects. And you can see the crystalline layer on the electrolyte, as it were. So now normally, if this were a normal type of capacitor, that pretty much would hose any form of voltage. And again, I have not added any fluid to this. I'm just going to put the carbon layer back, and I'll take a video of this. And here we are, again, right back there. So it goes up just a little bit with any type of stress to the cell. So if I add just a little bit of pressure, we're seeing 0.6 volts, which before it was just slightly less. So if I apply just a little bit of pressure, the piezoelectric effect is obvious right there. So this could be acting as some form of hybrid capacitor, but there still is something intrinsic to the electrolyte constituency of this itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have you take a look at this, and I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to try to take a reading as well as take a resistive load on it, and you'll see what will happen with the voltage when I apply a 1 ohm resistive load. Okay, so as I add a 1 ohm resistive load to this, you can see the voltage go down to, we'll start here, roughly just 5.89 or so thereabouts. And I'll add a resistive load, and you see the voltage drop to nothing. Okay, so I'm going to hold it there for a few seconds, and I'll take it off, and you'll see it bounce back right there. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to hold the resistive 1 ohm load on this cell. And again, if this were strictly capacitive in its nature, you would see a complete deterioration of voltage. Okay, so now I'm putting the 1 ohm load across it, and we're seeing it drop down to 0 again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the resistive load, and we'll see where it bounced back to again. So this is something slightly different than a normal capacitive, a normal capacitive type of situation. So as you can see, the cell is climbing back up. Again, this is some interesting gizmo, and it's not quite a capacitor, it's not quite a battery, but suffice to say, I think this is a good indication that you can see that there's a definitive capacity for this type of cell, even with 2 carbon electrodes, to bounce back entirely by themselves. So again, I'm running a 1 ohm resistor across this carbon-carbon OREO cell. I'll take it off. And you see it still climb. So for what it's worth, the constituency of the zinc oxide and Epsom salts may be worth looking at, and I'm encouraged. So thank you for watching, and have a great night.